Can Troy make it 3 in a row against the Cajuns? And Marshall travels to ODU. Let's preview Week 13. It's Locked On Sunbelt.
You are Locked On Sunbelt, your daily podcast on the Sunbelt Conference. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, Dave Schultz, Locked On Sunbelt, your team every day. Today's episode brought to you by FanDuel. You can start the season with a big return on FanDuel. New customers can place a $5 bet and you'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. Winter hit Louisville today. I got a heavy shirt on and a pullover on. It literally started snowing. I can't tell you the last time I actually saw snow. I don't think it snowed last year in Louisville or in Lafayette, if it did. All right. Anyways, we'll get to the Cajuns and Troy here in a minute. We'll do Marshall in the second segment. And G.J. Kinne signs a big-time extension with Texas State up to $2 million. Will that be enough to keep him from leaving? All right. Meanwhile, let's start off with the Cajuns. Again, they are a banged-up crew. They are banged up in the secondary. They're banged up on the offensive line. And obviously, Ben Wooldridge is out hurting himself in the South Alabama game. And Chandler Fields is the quarterback. They are taking on Troy that, remember what I said, right? I just want to see Troy compete in the last couple of ball games because they were going up against the two top division leaders, right? They're coming off a win against Coastal Carolina, which was huge. They're coming off a close loss to Arkansas State, then coming off a close or a nice win over Coastal, and then they're going to go to Georgia Southern, and then the Cajuns, and they wind up with Southern Miss. Like, you could win a game against Southern Miss. Like, we didn't know where Troy's next win was going to be for a minute there, right? And they've reeled off a couple in a row. You know they're going to be trying to attack that Cajun secondary. If I am Mike Desimo and the Cajuns defensively, I need to come after Matthew Caldwell. All right, he was our Roy Player of the Week this past week. Had a phenomenal ball game, almost 300 yards, 2 touchdowns in the air, 2 touchdowns on the ground. But I am not going to let him sit back and, have his way with my guys. The Cajuns haven't been nearly as aggressive as I thought they were going to be defensively. They like to keep everything in front instead of coming after the quarterback. I think you come after the quarterback. If he throws it over your head, okay. All right. If he throws it 50 yards over your head because you don't get home on a blitz, well, okay. Tip your cap to him. All right. That's what South Alabama did in the first half, and they won the football game. All right. Although I'm not sure that was a blitz on 3rd and 9. That was on the second possession of the game. Cajuns had a chance to get off the field, and South Alabama hits a deep pass to Jamal Pritchett. So that's what I would do if I'm the Cajuns. I am going to try and get Caldwell off his spot. All right. He doesn't run it all that well. I don't think he only had, what do you have, like 13 yards on 12 carries? I know that runs weren't very long, obviously, for the touchdowns, but I mean, they still count. That's what I would do if I'm the Cajuns. And then if I'm Troy, I'm going to go after that. I'm going to go after the secondary. Bring that blitz. All right. Let's see if I can beat them in one-on-one coverage with what is going to be a young secondary. As for what the Cajuns need to do, they do need to run the ball better, and they do need to capitalize in the red zone, right? They could not score against South Alabama much at all. Let's see what the team stats were. Cajuns actually outgained South Alabama 413 to 353. Passing was about even, but the Cajuns even outran them 137 to 68. And they had the ball, almost 6 minutes more, and they just couldn't score touchdowns. They came up short on their first possession, and they kicked a bunch of field goals until they got the last 2 touchdowns, still needing the 2-point conversion, and they could not do it. So I'm picking the Cajuns. I think Troy's going to cover. It's win and move on. In terms of the division, I think I'm right with this. Again, the tiebreakers hurt my head. Texas State, because I think it's different. This is where I don't think I'm right. If it's a group, it's not head to head. So I would tell you that it would seem that Texas State and Arkansas State are eliminated if the Cajuns win this week because they have to finish ahead. I don't think that's the case. Unless you start eliminating teams with the way that is, the way we had broken it down with all the teams and what the winning percentage is, and then you have to wait until the last ball game. But the Cajuns, again, they have the advantage because all the teams have 2 losses. So as of right now, so if you're going to give the Cajuns a loss, we'll see what that turns into. And it would be a mess. Absolutely. It would be a mess. I'll take the Cajuns at home. Let's see if they run the football and put it in the end zone and see if they can get to Matthew Caldwell and put pressure on him and get a couple of turnovers. Again, I'll take the Cajuns to win, and I will take Troy to cover that edge. All right, Dave Schultz, Lockdown Sunbelt, your team every day. We'll get to the Marshall ball game in the second segment. I kind of wanted to give them their own lead segment. South Alabama coming off their big win against the Cajuns. They're at Southern Miss. All kinds of issues for Southern Miss. This probably, South Alabama is a 22.5-point favorite on the road. They have gone on the road and took down App State. They've gone on the road and took down the Cajuns. They did lose on the road to Arkansas State. And they got a 1-2 punch with Bullock and Bothwell. And Gio Lopez is having a fantastic season. That's a lot of points on the road. I think South Alabama will cruise, but Southern Miss is, I don't know if they've packed it in. Guys have left the team. Coaches have been let go. They have scored a grand total of 6 points since the end of the Fighting Will Halls, and it's 37-3 against Marshall and 58-3 against Texas State. Yeah, I'll give you the points. I'll take South Alabama. This would be, it's got a little bit of a letdown game in it, a little bit of a letdown game only because you're coming off a big win against your rival, the Cajuns, and you got Texas State at home the next week, and you still have an outside shot at winning the division. Obviously, you can't do that by losing this ball game, which I don't think they are in danger of doing. Of course, I said that a lot last year. So they could have a little bit of a letdown, but still, 38-10 covers the game, right? Yeah, so you'd cover the game if that was the score, and that would be 4 more points than they've scored in the last 2 games combined. So I would take South Alabama in this one. Let's do one more ball game. Again, all of these are no early games this week as we've had in the past. Arkansas State and Monroe. Arkansas State has qualified for a bowl game. They're second in a row under Butch Jones. Monroe is looking to do that. They have lost 4 in a row after starting out really hot, have not looked good offensively at all. Arkansas State continues to battle. It hasn't been all that pretty, right? They got embarrassed by the Cajuns. They got embarrassed by Texas State. They did do a number on Southern Miss. They held off Troy, and then they had a win and move on against Georgia State. So something that we talked about, into the season. I like the growth of Jalen Rayner. We now need that spectacular player to come back, right? We've got if I don't play well for 3.5 quarters, Jalen Rayner, I can play well for the last half a quarter and lead us to victory. And really, that's the most important thing. But let's see him be more consistently good throughout the ball game. And this is, again, a tricky spot. ULM needs to win this. They will be, they will be an underdog against the Cajuns. And, after getting off to this great start, do they end up losing? Is it, am I right about that? Would it be, have they lost 4 in a row, or is that Am I off by? No, they've lost 4 in a row. They were 5-1. Goodness gracious. And so they could lose 6 in a row to end the season, and that would really take away from how good this team played early on. I will take, let's see what the line is. Let me see what the line is. Because I think Arkansas State's going to win this ball game. I don't think the line is very big. Arkansas State's only favored by 3. So I will take Arkansas State at home to win by more than a field goal. All right, let's take a timeout. We will look at Marshall and what they're doing in the East. We'll preview that ball game next against ODU. We still got G.J. Kinne signing an extension with Texas State to go over as well. We will do all of that when we come back after I tell you about Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the best place to get real money sports action. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. Run your game all season long on Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the best way to get action on sports in over 30 states, including California, Florida, Georgia, and Texas. Prize Picks is the only real money daily fantasy platform with an injury insurance policy so that your lineups stay in play even if one of your players gets injured. If your player leaves in the first half and doesn't return, Prize Picks keeps your lineup live. Sign up today and get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive your $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks is the best way to win real money this football season. Which players are going off? Which ones aren't? Make your picks in less than 60 seconds and turn your sports opinions into real money all season long on Prize Picks. Download the app today and use code LOCKEDONCollege to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's download the app today and use code LOCKEDONCollege to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game. All right, Dave Schultz, Locked On Sunbelt, your team every day. Let's head over to the East. Marshall has a better shot at eliminating. I guess they could eliminate. They can't eliminate JMU with a win because JMU is playing Marshall the following week. So, again, I'm trying to eliminate teams, and I'm not sure I can. Marshall's taking on ODU. It is Saturday night, 7:30 Eastern time on ESPNU. ODU is surprisingly favored by 3 points. Marshall has played so well in the last few weeks. Since that 1-point loss to Georgia Southern, they have a 15-point win to Georgia State. They did eke by Monroe 28-23. They got a 37-3 win over Southern Miss and a 31-19 win over Coastal Carolina. That wasn't particularly close. It was 31-10 with 12 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter. So, a couple scores for Coastal Carolina, including a game-ending safety. So, Marshall has been in control. It has been the Braylon Braxton show taking over for Stone Earl. Oh, this is hilarious. I don't know if someone is having fun on the ESPN.com website. I got to tell Luke Creasy this right now. Maybe take a picture of it because it's got Brett Favre's stats and Doug Peterson's stats on there. I don't know why. It is very odd to see. I'm going to screenshot this. Excuse me. So that's very odd. Who are the new quarterbacks for Marshall? Obviously, it's a code issue. Also, AJ Turner. AJ Turner is having a fantastic year. Actually, they have the Green Bay Packers stats up there because I'm seeing Dorsey Levens on, Doug Peterson, ULM. What's going on? They have the Green Bay Packer stats up there for some reason. AJ Turner, 793 yards, almost 800 yards, and like 9 yards a carry. He's got 6 touchdowns. He's having a a fantastic season in his sophomore year. And of course, you have Mike Green. Mike Green very well could, as we mentioned in yesterday's episode, be your Sunbelt Player of the Year if Marshall wins the East, because, again, I don't think Ben Wooldridge is going to get it because he got hurt. And I don't think Jordan McLeod is going to get it because his team isn't winning it as of yet. That remains to be seen. It could happen. But if Marshall wins the division, Mike Green could absolutely be your defensive player of the year. Let me see the overall Sunbelt's defensive stats, because where is Marshall in that list? They haven't been there. I don't know why they haven't seemed to. What am I looking at that they're not there? Which is kind of odd. All right, defense. Let's just do scoring. All right. Scoring defense. James Madison giving up 18, Texas State 20, Louisiana 22, Marshall 23. All right, so they're fourth in scoring defensively. Totals, they're fifth in defense, giving up 376 yards a game. James Madison 1, Texas State 2, Cajuns 3, Troy 4, Marshall 5. That is interesting. Let's see. Let's do rushing defense. Marshall is halfway through. They're in seventh place. They've given up 174 yards a game on the ground. That's a lot. Passing wise, Marshall is fifth, giving up 202 yards on in the air. So interesting that Marshall's got this really good defensive player. And I mean, they got a good defense. It's not quite as good as some others. So I find that fascinating. So I'm going to take Marshall. ODU, Colton Joseph. This is a big ball game. They ended up with the JMU. We told you that they had the best schedule in the conference. They ended up with JMU, Marshall, and at Arkansas State, and they needed to win 2 out of those 3 to go to a bowl game. The only way you can go to a bowl game now is you got to beat Marshall and Arkansas State. ODU's favored. Let's see if Colton Joseph can step up. It would certainly potentially throw a wrench into the East, depending on JMU and App State, and certainly make my head hurt with tiebreakers, which is fine once they show up. All right, and they're clearer to define at that point in time. I'll still take Marshall to go on the road. And win one for the Thundering Herd. All right, elsewhere, we do have, as the aforementioned, James Madison and App State. JMU favored by 7. It would be nothing. App still has a chance to go bowling. Long shot like ODU. They got to beat JMU, and they got to go to Georgia Southern and win. Someone did comment that, App State could throw a wrench into the East as well with a couple of victories. Maybe they do play a clean ball game, right? They did have, was it ODU? They played well. Is that who they beat? Yeah, they beat ODU. They beat Georgia State as well, 28-20, beating ODU. And they let the game at Coastal Carolina get away from them a couple weeks ago. So you do have James Madison, App State. I'm going to take James Madison. I'll take App State to cover. Let's see if they show a little heart at home. It's obviously been an awful season, both on and off the field for App in terms of, dealing with the storm Helene. And so wishing them all the best. Did see reports that maybe Sean Clark is going to be back. We'll see. I don't like anybody. I'm not a big fire the coach kind of guy. So we got James Madison going in. They're going to win. App State will cover. You do Georgia Southern at Coastal Carolina. Coastal is favored by 2.5. I'm going to take Coastal Carolina in this, and that would basically eliminate Georgia Southern from the East. Coastal Carolina's different team at home. They played the Cajuns tough, making a quarterback change at the time. I think they play better at home than they do on the road, and this is their final home game. And I think Coastal Carolina is going to win this ball game, and certainly that would put Clay Helton on the hot seat, being in first place 2 weeks ago and basically eliminated from the play I did see a report. I don't know how true it was. It's on the internet. It must be true. East Carolina was thinking about hiring Clay Helton. Do you go from Statesboro to Greenville? I'm not sure you do that. And Texas State taking on Georgia State. Texas State 21. That's a great segue. 21-point favorites hosting Georgia State. Del McGee is going to be asked the same question again for the third week in a row. See the facilities at Texas State. See the fan base at Texas State compared to what we got. All right. He's going to be asked the same question again, and he's going to answer it the same way. GJ Kinne's just done a great job. He came in there, said he was going to score points, has. They're not boring. They don't play very much low-scoring games. They put up a bunch of offense. They're pretty good defensively, and they're exciting to watch. And they're going bowling again for the second straight time. So we will take Texas State in this one, a 21-point favorite. Again, a letdown game a little bit because they got to a bowl game last week. They got South Alabama on the road. They still have a shot for the Sun Belt West title. I don't think trap game in terms of losing, just trap game in terms of focus to win by a big score. But I will take Texas State to blow out Georgia State at home. And we did them all. All right. So got South Alabama to cover against Southern Miss. Cajuns going to win, but Troy covers the 10. James Madison wins, but App State covers the 7. Arkansas State wins and covers the 3. Coastal Carolina wins, covers the 2.5. Texas State wins at home, beats Georgia State by more than 21. And I got Marshall going in to Norfolk and taking down Old Dominion. All right. So with Texas State hosting Georgia State, it came out on Thursday night. GJ Kinne getting a big-time extension. We will talk about that, and we'll wrap the show up with some Sunbelt hoops as well. We'll do that right after I tell you about ZBiotics and FanDuel. ZBiotics pre-alcohol probiotic drink is the world's first genetically engineered probiotic. It was invented by PhD scientists to tackle rough mornings after drinking. Here's how it works. When you drink alcohol, it gets converted into a toxic byproduct in the gut. It's this byproduct, not dehydration, that's to blame for your rough next day. Pre-alcohol produces an enzyme to break this byproduct down. Just remember to make ZBiotics your first drink of the night. Drink responsibly, and you'll feel your best tomorrow. Here's how to use it. Drink pre-alcohol. For best results, make pre-alcohol your first drink of the night. Step 2, drink responsibly. Pace yourself, hydrate, and get a good night's sleep. Step 3, enjoy tomorrow. Wake up feeling refreshed and ready to take on the day. Go to zbiotics.com/LockedOnCollege to learn more and get 15% off your first order when you use Locked On College at checkout. ZBiotics is backed with a 100% money-back guarantee. So if you're unsatisfied for any reason, they'll refund your money. No questions asked. Remember to head to zbiotics.com/LockedOnCollege and use code LockedOnCollege at checkout for 15% off. And FanDuel. Get ready to tackle the NFL action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Because right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. All right, Dave Schultz, Locked On Sunbelt, your team every day. Pete Thamel, as he is known to do, breaks the story that GJ Kinne does agree to an extension. Texas State finalizing a 7-year deal for Coach GJ Kinne, which is expected to be formalized in the near future. School officials approved the terms, $2 million a year for 7 years in a board meeting that happened on Thursday. Kinne will become the Sun Belt's highest paid coach, which is going to be interesting because, boy, he hasn't won anything yet, right? Usually that comes with, division title, Sun Belt Championship. He's absolutely turned the program around. He has absolutely got it going in the right direction. All right. It's good. I'm going to guess it's going to be full on Saturday, and not opening up this can of worms much more than I should, but the Cajuns aren't drawing for whatever reason. Cajuns didn't draw at homecoming. They didn't draw this past week against South Alabama, and I don't know what it's going to draw on Saturday against Troy. And they're only doing half a stadium. So if you don't know, the Cajuns are building basically a brand new home side with new seating and luxury boxes, and so it's going to look great when it's done, but you can't see anybody there, which is not an issue right now, but they're just not drawing. And so Texas State is going to draw a ton of fans this weekend, and that's part of it, right? It's exciting football. They're right in the middle of the state. They're not too far away from Austin. They're not too far away from College Station, but they got their own school and their own fan base, and they're eating it up. So usually these things come with some sort of championship. He's gone 14-9. All right. So if you want to go back and look what they were before he got there, he's obviously much better, but he's not exactly, this year was a letdown, put it that way. All right. Usually I'm not one. He's already got the extension to stay and a raise to $1 million. I think he doubled it to $2 million. And I'm not saying, I guess I am saying, I don't think you have to give him another extension. If he's going to go, he's going to go. Maybe this could be the situation where he is, this is protecting the school. All right. That he's got to pay back some of the money, or he's got to buy out the contract somewhat if he's going to leave, or the school who's coming to get him, whoever that may be. For all I know, it could be Mississippi State, could be Nebraska. I have no idea where he wants to coach. I don't know. I don't think those jobs are necessarily going to be open, but those two schools are not exactly lighting things on fire as of late. So maybe that's what this does. It gives him money up front and puts in I don't say poison pill. That's not the right way, but puts in a large sum of money that can help Texas State moving forward should he decide to leave. All right. Maybe he's there for the next 10 years. I got no idea, but these coaches' salaries aren't going down either, right? They continue to go up. So, if he gets a Power 4 school job, he's going to double that salary. A couple of years ago, I'm not even sure if he was making $250,000 in Incarnate Word. And now he's making, next year he's going to make, this year he's making $1 million at least. Now next year he's making $2 million. So the program is definitely going in the right direction. Usually there's something coming with it, a division title or a championship. But in this case, it's big crowds, right? It was a bowl win and a big crowd, and they're going to another bowl game. All right. Make no mistake about it. And he's going to be the first to tell you this season was disappointing. All right. This was a letdown. And yet, as much of a letdown as it was, because they were picked, and I picked them to win the Sun Belt. I think I picked them to win the Sun Belt. They still could go 8-4, right? You beat Georgia State this week. You beat South Alabama. That's not going to be an easy task. But you beat those two teams. You go win a bowl game. You just won 9 ball games. Let me see what we got here. Because, and I'll get to the basketball here in a second. So 9 games for Texas State. Let's see if we get that schedule. All right. So let's see what the schedule was in 2024. They won 4 ball games in 2022. I'm sorry, 2022. They won 4 ball games. And in 2021, they won 4 ball games. And in 2020, they won 2 ball games. So in 2020, 2021, and 2022, they would have won 10 games. He could win 9. They could win 9 this year. That's awesome. That's awesome. I don't know if it needs to be a $2 million deal, but, good for Texas State and good for G.J. Kinne. All right. Well, let's wrap it up with some basketball. I don't think there were many games. JMU actually played well earlier today. I saw the end of the Bradley game. Texas State game, as the case may be. And James Madison ends up pulling away from UIC 99-81. Close ball game in half, 45-41. But a 54-point second half, and UIC only scored 40. So a rather easy 18-point victory in the second half. Let's check out the box score a little bit. Coming off the bench for James Madison, Bryce Lindsey in 26 minutes had 28 points. That's efficient. Made 10 of 11 field goals, 5 of 6 from 3, and all three free throws. Also added 5 rebounds, 2 assists, and 3 steals. And he only played 26 minutes. Mark Freeman had 14 points. He started. AJ Smith had 12 points, and Elijah Hutchins Everett had 11. Now, they shot 53%, almost 42 from 3, and almost 78%. So James Madison snaps, well, then I guess they're going back and forth. So they are now 3-2. And Bradley over Texas State. Bradley had a 20-point lead at half. Bradley takes down Texas State 82-68. Let's see who did things for Texas State. You did have Caden Gums with 19 points on 7-16 shooting. Tyrell Morgan had 14 points, and Tylen Pope had 15. Not a lot of production off the bench, just 9 points off the bench for Texas State. So more ball games on Friday night. Maybe we do a special Friday night basketball recap. We'll see. I do work Friday and Saturday, so not the easiest thing to do. All right. Thank you so much. We are rocking and rolling. We're up to 1,635. We are on Blue Sky. I'm not going anywhere from Twitter just yet. But I am on Blue Sky, Schultzcast, and whatever the thing is over there. But I think we almost had 1,635 subscribers. So you guys are helping me out. Really do appreciate it. And we seem to be getting more and more as the case may be. 1,637. The drive for 2025 is helping. A little bit behind the scenes we've had since we started that. And again, it was only a couple of days ago. Yeah, it doesn't sound like a lot, but I got like 10 subscribers, 11 subscribers in a few days because of the drive for 2025. So again, the way that stuff works, more people see it, more people join, more people see it, more people join. Kind of grows organically. Like that. So I got to put the stuff on Threads. I don't think I do it on Threads, but I need to do that. All right. Again, thank you so much. A little bit longer tonight. Should be a great weekend of football. It's probably not going to go the way that anybody thinks it will. Someone's going to throw a curveball. We'll see what happens. Everybody have a great weekend. Enjoy the football, and we'll talk to you again on a Monday. You've been watching Locked On Sunbelt, your team every day. Have a great weekend, everybody.